Thanks for checking out the video. If you don't know me yet, my name is Mason Woodruff. I'm a strength and nutrition coach based out of the South, if you can't tell, here in Little Rock, Arkansas. So I'm the owner of MasonFit.com. As you can see on my screen now, I'm going to show you how to create these infographics that you're seeing. By no means am I the best. I'm certainly not a designer, although I have quite a bit of experience with Canva, which is probably what you're going to want to use here. So I'm going to jump in, show you through my process. I'll kind of take you through live, real-time, how I go about creating these things, where to source images, the difference in PNGs and JPEGs, and just little stuff, and make this pretty easy so you can start making these for yourself. Okay, so here are a few examples of what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen these on Instagram, these do extremely well for reach. And to be honest, it's not like a sleazy tactic or anything, because most of the time they really do provide value. So you can provide, like these are just a series of menus and macros, and these are pretty popular, just fast food options. We've done things like peanut butter versus almond butter, or like Halo Top versus just store brand in terms of calorie breakdown and cost, all that kind of stuff. So you've definitely seen these if you're watching this video. But I wanted to give a few examples. So if you've asked around, you probably heard that most people do these on Canva. That said, it's kind of difficult to just jump in and do this. So let's say you are on canva.com. I'd probably go and sign up. You can see, it keeps up with all your designs. Once you make a few of these, you'll have templates. So like the menus and macros, you'll see a few different templates here. Yeah, so you'll have templates once you make a few of these, and then it's super easy to recreate. I'm going to start from scratch, so you can see you can make any different size. So like if you're on Pinterest and things like that, making correct sized images is important. For these, I typically go with just this 800 by 800 pixel, and boom, launches up a blank canvas here. So you'll see you can use a lot of things that they'll have on the site. So for this, I tried to find a seesaw or like a balance, and I guess that I should tell you the topic. So the topic I'm thinking is what's important or what you should care about for health and fitness versus what's not so important. So I don't have all the content on this planned out. This is something I wanted to do. I'm not going to put you through the torture of listening through my thought process, but I'm thinking on the important side, we've got things like 3 to 4 strength training sessions a week, and calorie and energy balance, protein intake, those types of things. And then over here, we're probably talking like organic foods, supplements, that kind of stuff. Okay. But anyway, for images, this is probably the hardest part. So how do we get like these things without backgrounds and logos, and how do we make this look clean without having to crop images and do all this kind of crazy stuff? And to be honest with you, this took me a long time. So you can use some of their stuff on site. So like if you Google or if you search in their search bar, seesaw or balance, and then you click over to, so it's going to shoot you everything here. I typically go over to illustrations, and then it'll, you'll have some options to choose from here. If you did like if I could spell, it's like a balance, you'll see examples here. Most of theirs will be $1 a piece. Now you can use these. They also have a pro version that you can upgrade to. And that's probably worth it if you make a lot of these. So you can add, like this type of image here. Like I paid $1 for that. So they'll have a lot of these things that are just kind of included. Plus, you'll have access to a lot of their stock photography, which is pretty good stuff. But anyway, how to go about doing this when you don't have anything. So I didn't like any of these. And you're going to have to go to Google a lot of times, especially for like the fast food things. You won't find that on Canva. So here's how to go about doing that. Now we're just going to go over to Google, and we're going to type in exactly what we want, followed by PNG. So PNG, again, not a designer, not a real techie here. So it's like portable networks graphic or something. Essentially, what that will do is most of these PNGs will have a transparent background, meaning you won't carry like in this case you would, but like say if we tried to put this on here, we'd have the entire image versus a PNG might just have them on the seesaw here without any grass, without any trees. Okay, so let's say you saw the seesaw PNG I used. Let me go back to it. Let's say you find one that you want to use. So this is the one I did. It is important to look at where it's coming from. And so like WP clip art, this is the one I used, but it is important to not just go here, save this and use it. You do want to visit the page and make sure that you have the ability to use it. So you'll see things to look for here. Some of them won't have it on the page. You'll have to look at the site. Here you can see this public domain. You can click on it for more information. This person who created it has waived it, and it's free for Creative Commons. You can use it for commercial use, anything like that. What you don't want to do is just go and Google images and just take something, boom, something that somebody else has created and just steal their work. Now a lot of these types of images, especially illustrations, you'll find stuff for free and that you can use willingly. If you have something that's like the fast food, so let's go a McDonald's McDouble. So here you'll see we have the PNGs, so they'll have a good way to tell is if they have this like checkered background. So if this is from, let's find one that's from like McDonald's or something. This is from McDonald's in Canada. If I'm going to be promoting their products, in this case, I don't really care if I'm giving them credit. People know it's from McDonald's. So that's a little bit different. But it is from them, and it's not something that someone else has created, okay? Even though it's from Canada. So in this case, I'm just going to save this image. It's a PNG here. We'll save it wherever. I'm going to hop back over here. And in this case, you can upload images. Just click and drag. And then boom, you're on here. You have no background, and then some basics of Canva. You can copy things, you can resize. Like if you want a double of these, just copy. You can flip these horizontally, vertically, crop it. You can do all kinds of stuff in Canva. I'm not really going to keep this. I'm not going to do like a Canva tutorial necessarily. Just wanted to show you on the images. That's typically one of the hardest things to do and learn about is how to do that. You can use things like PicMonkey, I believe. No, I lied. Pixlr. So Pixlr, you can go on here and this would be like if you had an image or a logo and you wanted to take out the background. So if you took a picture of me right now and you wanted to take out this bookshelf and this chair, you could do that with Pixlr. And I'm not going to show you how to do that. I'll link to a video that'll teach you how to do that. Okay, so back to wherever we are. Okay, so back here. So once you have some images you want to work with, and I'll probably add some more things to this image-wise and then kind of pretty it up, make it more attractive. You're going to need some text. So over here, pretty easy. They have, like in this case, you can use templates for matching text. Again, not a designer. I've done a lot of playing around with text and copy and matching fonts, and I'm just not that great at it. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter that much. So if you wanted to add text first and then split it with like a line or something like that, like do any of these have it? Okay, like here. So the whole image is white, but it's split with just like a black bar. You could do that, or you could do something that's like a solid thing for where your title is, and then put your information somewhere else on there. I'm going to keep it easy here and just show you how to put like a block up here for the title. So we're going to go to shapes. So elements over here, shapes. I'm just going to do a square here. You can do whatever color you want, doesn't really matter. You can resize this any way you want. I'm just going to leave it black for now. Okay, so then I'm just going to throw some text on it. and we're going to say, I'm probably going to change this, and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. So let's just say, again, if I could spell, what's important. Okay, we'll change the color, something easy to read. And then you have just all these fonts to choose from here. Okay, I will say once you find something you like, it's probably important to just keep all of yours relatively close to the same font, and keep it on brand at least. I have a good feeling that you won't be doing these forever. But it's right now they're really popular, and they do provide a ton of value. So I think you should do them. And they're great. Like if you have a site or a blog, they're a really great way to increase the quality of an article, and it makes an article very shareable. So anyway, just keep them on brand. I typically use a font like this because it's spaced close together, and I can add a lot and really blow this up. So let's just say we're going to make it here 72 size font, and I'm going to bold it. Okay, you can play around with letter spacing. So here you can space this out, you can make it closer together. If you have two lines, so let's say I did this, no, you can't really see that. You see the very top of it. We could bring them closer together here. So these are pretty important tools here. The spacing, you'll probably need that because just the generic, like you don't want that much space in between your lines really anywhere on here. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to come back and fix this title again, show you the finished product. But yeah, you get the basics on adding a title and font and all that stuff. Other things you might need would be, let's say you wanted to add an easy way to add copy or text that's the same font and everything like that would be just to copy this, drag it, different color, and then resize it, whatever. Okay. One thing that I would use a lot would be get your text boxes and images and things like that sized. Like if you're going to have something that matches, so like in this case, I want two things side by side. So what's important, what's not important. So if my text boxes are the same size, you'll see Canva helps me out with like lining these things up. So right now, like where's the middle of this image? Right there. So you can tell, am I centered? Is my title centered? So pay attention to these things. You want everything to be centered and even, and it is kind of easy, especially when you have a lot going on, to get things really off-centered. You'll need, like when you have other text box down here that go across the entire screen, this gets a little tricky on making sure everything's even. When you have a bunch of images and you're going to have to like add smaller blocks of text to add notes and things like that, then it gets a little tricky on making sure everything is in line in each column. And yeah, the last thing I guess I would say would be to be sure to add like your handle probably in multiple places. So like in this case, if you wanted to add it, real small, like in the title block up here, and just do like whatever, and then put your handle somewhere in here or your website or whatever, and then you'll probably want to put it, if you have room and it doesn't clutter your design. Okay, I hit my time limit on Screencast-O-Matic. So where I left off was I was saying you might want to put your tags or your website or anything just in as many places as possible, because IP theft, it's going to happen. It's pretty unavoidable, and that can just kind of deter someone. The more places they have to remove it, or the more difficult it is to remove. So also, you're probably not going to worry about it too much, because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Okay, but anyway, as you can see, in between when my video cut off and now, I went ahead and finished this out. So this isn't my favorite that I've ever made, but whatever. When I started, didn't really have a plan, but just started and rolled with it. Okay, so what I did, and I will say, the more text that you add to these, the more difficult it will be. So obviously, like lining everything up, getting the right size text and font, and getting everything just in the right space is difficult. So this took me probably 20 minutes once I got in to make all the different text sizes and everything, and get everything lined up, change colors, and make it wrap around and all that good stuff. But you can see I played around with the title. I considered moving all of this over like to the left side of the screen and then putting in some kind of illustration over here to give it some character. I may still do that. This one is kind of just plain Jane. Ideally you want some more graphics or illustrations than something just like this. You'll want some stuff in your title or around your header or around certain things. This one's extremely busy. So again, not the designer. Don't use this as your template. Look at someone's who you really like. Now don't steal work. Now there's going to be a fine line in the fitness industry. There's only so many ideas and so many concepts. So you're gonna walk a thin line between saying the same things, but there's a difference in saying the same things. Like I can tell you, don't focus on supplements, but I'm not going and just taking someone's infographic about not using supplements, which I'm sure is out there, and I'm not just copying that same kind of stuff. So this is from my point of view, my own words. I'm going to write a caption that lines up and explains what I mean with some of these things. And yeah, that's about it. So I hope this helps. I'll link below the video again to the Pixlr tutorial, some final thoughts on finding PNGs, images, illustrations, things like that. And yeah, I think you got enough to get rolling. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.